Hello. Thank you all for coming here. It's greatly appreciated and very excited to introduce this event. Can folks hear me? Great. So firstly, before I get started, I just want to extend a sincere thank you to all of you and to our partner organizations, Columbia University's Center on Global Energy Policy, their Carbon Tech Development Initiative, Rocky Mountain Institute and Breakthrough Energy, and thank you to our supporters and sponsors, Climate Works Foundation and Boston Consulting Group. My name is Jason Hochman, and I am the co-founder and head of the Direct Air Capture Coalition, a growing global nonprofit, multi-stakeholder coalition of over 100 companies, civil society organizations, advocacy groups, and research and academic institutions dedicated to advancing and accelerating the development and deployment of direct air capture technology to help fight climate change. Please do reach out to become a member, partner, or supporter of our work following this conference. It is overwhelmingly clear that we will need large-scale carbon removal and that direct air capture will have a significant role to play in that portfolio of solutions. It should go without saying, but let me be clear here. Direct air capture and carbon removal cannot be viewed as a replacement for robust, rapid, and sustained emissions reductions and decarbonization. DAC, along with other forms of carbon removal, are necessary complements to reducing our emissions, not substitutes for them. The UN IPCC frames the need for gigaton scale carbon dioxide removal by 2050 as essential and unavoidable if we want to mitigate the most catastrophic impacts of climate change. We are nowhere near where we need to be, but that's why you're all here today. We are here because we've grasped the urgent need to develop and scale this technology, the opportunity to be at the forefront of helping to build an entirely new sector from scratch, and the inherent hopefulness that we can harness the best of humanity's innovation and ingenuity to begin mending the damage we have done. Over the past 2 years, there's been a significant step change in public and private sector support for direct air capture. In the United States, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and Inflation Reduction Act created the $3.5 billion Regional Direct Air Capture Hubs program and enhanced the 45Q tax credit to $180 a ton. We've seen countries around the world beginning to grasp the potential for this sector and are designing policy mechanisms of their own to support its growth. More and more corporations are following the lead of Microsoft, Stripe, Shopify, and others as early buyers for high-quality carbon removal credits. The number of startup companies and research efforts launched over the past 2 years has been breathtaking. It was a lot easier to keep track of the latest DAC news 2 years ago than it is today. As an aside, I recommend you all sign up for the single best compilation of DAC news, the monthly DAC Dispatch newsletter. Yet, here's the caveat to all of these exciting developments. My last day before I left my prior job to focus on direct air capture full-time was September 9th, 2021. The Climeworks Orca facility in Iceland began operation 1 day before. Everything I laid out above has happened in the past 25 months since then. Yet, Orca is still the sole commercially operating DAC plant doing permanent removal. All those press releases, little actual CO2 removal. This is a critically important point. This will take time. I want to press upon you all the urgent need for DAC and the hope and excitement that comes with it, but also to manage expectations. Yet, all of the recent progress has been foundational to building a thriving DAC sector. We've only removed 0.001% of what will likely be required. Leading analyses indicate that scaling carbon dioxide removal technologies, that we will need to scale carbon dioxide removal technologies by 75 to 100% every year between 2020 and 2030, then continuing this growth for the next 2 decades. This is why we are having this conference. DAC will not scale if we operate in fragmented silos. Rarely have we seen a problem more in need of widespread, concerted collaboration. We have brought together leaders from technology, government, industry, civil society, academia, and more because we will need you all to play a role. From technical readiness From technical readiness to market demand to supply chains to human capital to infrastructure to social license, progress must be made simultaneously, in parallel, across all fronts. The most effective DAC technology in the world does nothing if you don't have buyers. If you have buyers, it doesn't do you much good if you don't have people to build, operate, and maintain the facilities. If you have that, it still won't go far if you don't have the support of the communities you'll be operating in. Scaling DAC to the levels that leading climate science has told us will be required in the limited time we have will require the best of human ingenuity and innovation and a sincere commitment to collaboration and cooperation. It will be one of the greatest collective achievements in the history of humanity. I'm going to repeat that. Scaling DAC to gigaton levels of removal will be one of humanity's greatest collective achievements. Now, there are those who will say it's too great a challenge and we shouldn't even try. To them, I'll borrow a phrase from someone who reminded us that cynicism is the recourse of cowards. We can't afford hopelessness. We need courageous leadership in facing this challenge head on. It's becoming a bit of a trope to compare the urgency of scaling climate solutions to JFK's famous moonshot. In his famous speech, President Kennedy said, "We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one that we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win." The difference here is that there is no choice. We do not have a choice in the matter. We must scale carbon removal, and without DAC playing a significant role, we will fail. As the UN IPCC has made clear, large-scale carbon dioxide removal is essential and unavoidable to meeting our climate goals, and direct air capture will have to play a significant role. Someday, you can be proud to tell your children and grandchildren you were part of that effort, and they will be grateful as you will have helped leave them a better world. I'll now hand over to Mike, to a man who has been working as part of that effort for nearly 2 decades, Direct Air Capture Coalition co-founder and board chair, and Global Thermostat's head of market development, Nicholas Eisenberger, to set the stage for our 2 days of programming.